好了，接下来呢，让我们继续进行多人对谈XR 作品的孵化从0到1。Let's move on to the next panel discussion, Incubating Immersive Projects。首先呢，我将非常隆重的有请我们的沙之河沉浸影像展的创办人娄延新先生呢，作为我们这个环节的主持人。And now let's invite the founder of Sandbox Immersive Festival, Eddie, as the moderator of this part. Let's welcome him.
Hello， 大家下午好。很感谢大家留到现在参加我们最后一场多人对话。然后今天下午的这个对话呢，其实非常有趣，讨论的是如何孵化创作作品。那我们这次下午的这个环节，其实邀请了4位非常这个重量级的嘉宾啊，然后他们分别是Power to the Pixel CEO 威尼斯电影节的策展人，VR单元策展人 Liz Rosenthal。然后是获得多项作品大奖的这个制片公司 LS5 的联合创始人以及制片人Antoine Keiko。另外是Oculus 公司 Head of Experience 的Elena Regis。另外还有荷兰国际电影纪录片节的DocLab 的总监Casper。因为今天这个环节主要都是外国嘉宾，所以这个环节我就用英文进行主持了。如果大家需要同传的话，外面可以取一下。Okay, so thank you so much for coming to Sandbox Immersive Festival. And I think Liz, this is the second year for Liz, and I think for Elena, Antoine, and Casper is the first time. How do you feel about your experience so far?
It's great. I'm incredibly impressed that you're still awake and standing. It's hugely ambitious. The exhibition hall is incredible and very large, and it's also amazing that you brought together such an international gathering in a place that's so far away. So it's really a testament to all the hard work. But it's been a really lovely experience.
Thank you.
I think it's amazing when you can mix your work and a little bit of pleasure. And I didn't know that there was a beautiful beach just outside when I arrived. So I found this important and crazy talented people I can talk to, and then I can rest a little bit on the beach. So I'm really happy to be there. Thank you.
And I'm back for a second time, so I obviously love it. So congratulations, Eddie. It's a fantastic festival. Michelle and I are in the midst of selection to Venice, and we planned our selection calendar around being able to come back to Qigndao. So we started and we're going back to finish. So we think this is a really important festival, and it's been incredibly beneficial and enriching for us, because we're meeting people we don't normally meet in our usual circuit, which tends to be Europe and North America. And it's been really exciting in Venice. We've had a big submission from projects from the larger region of Southeast Asia, and that has been fantastic. So it means we've got voices coming from other walks of life, and a different sort of narrative that we're seeing with the kind of projects that's submitted to Venice. So, and also in terms of meeting people, it's been great meeting completely new people, financing and producing works in different ways.
Thank you so much. That's it.
Yeah, and I think I had the unfortunate last year to be in Beijing and meet you 2 weeks before Sandbox started in your small studio compared to the grandeur of this.
We actually moved to a bigger space.
But I think it's been, what strikes me a lot is the last 2 years being here, I found it quite hard to find the right people. And it's been amazing here just walking around bumping into people from here and the region, apart from our lovely international contingent. And I want to applaud you for the curation as well. I think you made a really, really strong selection that shows what's happening out there right now.
Thank you, and it's actually the worship goes to our curation team, our entire preparation team for the festival. They actually put all their time and efforts into make it happen. But I'm very glad that you all can come, and I do think to have a festival that is here in China, in Asia, that we're able to showcase the best work around the world, and also to have an opportunity for you guys to gather together and to exchange and share is super important, and not only for Chinese audience, but also I do think it's a great opportunity to bridge China with the rest of the world. And actually, speaking of working in industry, because all four of you guys have been working in industry for a while and been producing a lot of projects, whether it's from the perspective of a festival or the perspective of producing company, producing studio, or platform. I think we all already have a lot of ideas about how to work with artists, how to actually help them to bring their kind of maybe just a very vague initial idea come to a real project, into reality. And we all have different perspectives. So I'm just wondering. So maybe I would like to ask you to share your ideas about how your past experiences of working with artists and how do you guys work together to produce the work. So maybe Liz, for example, like Liz, I know you've been working in UK and to supervise Creative XR as an incubation program. Can you maybe just talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I helped set up a program called Creative XR last year, which is really, we call it a content acceleration program, but for immersive content. And I'll just tell you a little bit about the program and how it works. It's for UK projects. It's funded through the Arts Council of England, so it's an organisation that funds things from the Royal Opera to immersive live theatre companies, to dance companies, to visual artists, so non-media in the past. And also the programme is run by a centre called the Digital Catapult, so it's a government-funded centre that's meant to help companies incubate technology. So this is their first content programme, so it specialises in immersive tech, artificial intelligence and 5G. So this is their flagship creative programme that I helped them develop last year. And we select 20 artistic teams, and we give them £20,000 to prototype their projects over a set period of time. We give them mentoring around what they're doing, one-to-one mentoring, labs, workshops, and then we do a market at the end where we present their prototype, so they're demoing the prototype to potential financiers and investors. And then from the 20 we select 3 to 5 projects and we finance production. Either the whole production, depending on the budget, or we're expecting the projects to look for extra finance. So I set up the program from what I learned through my company Power to Pixel, which I set up in 2006. And it was one of the first companies that looked at how you develop interactive projects. So it was before people started making immersive content in the entertainment and art space. And I had a lab, the Pixel Lab. And I also ran an event for 10 years with the London Film Festival that was the first interactive project finance market. It was a conference and a think tank for financiers. So this is what I wanted to do, is make sure I put all the people in the room together who were financing or work and incubating work around the world, so we could compare notes. Because everyone at the beginning of innovation was working in silos from different industries. And we're actually facing some of the same issues. But what I did, the project finance market was really the heart of it. We had 50 projects in the market. My last Pix event I did was in the end of 2015. So we had 50 projects and we invited potential financiers and distributors and co-producers around the world. What I learned though, because I was doing an incubation lab and a market, was there was this huge bit missing in between in the ecosystem, and that was actually being able to give producers and creators money to prototype. And it's something I saw as a real problem, because a lot of projects that we were bringing through our lab, so we didn't have finance to fund prototypes and development, they were on paper. They were pitching ideas that nobody really understood what they were. And the hardest thing is getting development money or getting seed money. And so I found a lot of the projects got stuck at that stage. Or, I mean, I find it really difficult even now trying to understand an experience that's totally new as technology is developing and as people are inventing completely new forms. And it's totally impossible showing to some of the traditional financiers who haven't experienced any of this work, what they can imagine it is. So what I found important in this program was doing a kind of wraparound program that you do, strategic, creative strategy, business strategy, prototyping money, and then you have something to present to a financier for production. So it was trying to create a kind of ecosystem that I learned from my labs that we started back in 2007, what you needed to do in the space of innovation. And that having labs where people get together and share ideas is a really good way of doing it, because a lot of people are working in isolation. When they get together, they solve loads of things together. You're also cross-collateralizing expertise. But the prototyping money was the absolute key, I think, for getting projects. So, sorry, I'm talking for a while, but just so we had the first round of projects finished in sort of early year, and 3 of them went to Tribeca. And one of them is here that we funded the prototype with Qigndao.
Common Ground.
Yeah, Common Ground. Common Ground's here as well. Okay, so Common Ground we financed the prototype and production, and the Qigndao we financed the prototype. And then Casper went on to be involved with that as well. So we found this is a really effective way. We've got 20 projects. One of them actually is Goliath, which pitched on the 24th. So we're very excited about the new crop.
Wow, that's. I think you do actually have a very a rich kind of program to support creative artists, and whether it's on the production side as well as like prototyping side, especially on the notes that you just mentioned, because a lot of people who they may have a lot of ideas, and maybe they are coming from other media format, and they wanted to do something, and they have a very interesting idea, but they couldn't really get it into. They don't know what to do about it. So I think it's extremely important to kind of give them guidance over how they could actually take another step forward.
Or just allowing them to make something that might not work, but it's not such a big investment. You're not putting in £100,000 or £200,000 or £500,000 and not knowing what it is. You'll see whether it works and some things don't work, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because you learn from it, from doing it, everyone learns.
Sure, of course. I think everyone is paying money to try to experiment, try to learn. And obviously the UK has been very supportive of immersive projects. And I think also there's another very strong country, which is France. Well, France always has a very long history of supporting creative work and artists. Antoine, obviously, has been working with a lot of artists, produced a lot of projects. I'm just wondering, how can you share a little bit about your experiences in the past about working with all these people by producing spheres and obviously we have a lot of projects here. And even like we have ayahuasca here and also Gloomy Eye. So they're all great work. So how do you do it?
So I think my role have 2 phases. The first phase of my role as a producer, and when I say me, it's like my company and all the producers within it, is to help the artists when they need it. So all artists don't have the same needs. So some of them might be strong on some phase and a little weak on other, and it's not all the same. So my main role is to trust them and to be there as a help on the creation. So, and if I go from the team from Vestige to the Gloomy Eyes team to the Ayahuasca team, I didn't help on the same way, all of them. So some of them I help more on the script, some of them I help more on finding the good technology partners, because they have a vision, they know what they want to express, they know the message, but sometimes they don't know how, sometimes they know how, but they lack some little details. So my goal is to be there for them. Like, they need to ask me when they need me. I try not to impose myself too much, because if you impose yourself too much as a producer, maybe you should become a director and change your profession. So I try to be there for them, and I think that can change as I just said. But the other thing, which I think is the same for all projects, is I don't want my creative team to waste time. So I'm here to make the project viable a little bit. Like, some idea, I think, maybe not the moment to do them, you know, and also that my responsibility that they don't waste time. I think we're a really little niche. Here is a small audience, and we all need, in different way, to grow the audience. And in order to do that, some project that I receive right now, I tell the artists, like, it's not bad or good project. There is not bad or good project. There is project for different tastes and different stage of the evolution of the medium. So some project, I will tell the artist, maybe you should do another one before. It will increase your track record. This one will be more easy to reach an audience, and you will do something maybe more niche later when the market will be there. So one of my role is to be a filter. I think there is broadcaster and money and artists, and it's best when they don't talk directly together. If they talk together, it's bad for the project, I think. So my role is like to preserve each of them, and so none of them waste time. And so choosing the project is something important, and I feel like when you're doing Vaidor, you're increasing the audience of doing something like this. And we did indie movie before together. I'm not sure we increased the audience a lot. So we need maybe to do that more, and then we can come back to do and Vaidor, and indie, and art, because the audience will be more there. And the other thing I try to do on this project is, of course, you choose a subject that you think, you never know, can reach an audience, and then you increase the marketing and potential value of this project, like adding casting, adding co-producer. That I think my co-producer, like for Gloomy Eyes, are there, and we have some company from all over the world, and each territory we have a casting from the country that will help to raise that audience. And so I would say tourism, that's my two role. Being a help when I'm needed, and trying to be safe that the project might exist and might find an audience. And I think it's maybe good for the medium right now.
It's actually a very difficult task.
It's a really fun one.
Yeah, but you mentioned about having for example, the broadcasting company to talk with the creative artists. Already, it would be a nightmare actually. So it has to be someone who can translate the language. I think it's a core ability of being a very good producer, which is we don't actually have a lot of those kind of people here. But
I think what I'm doing is not VR, it's what the producers all over the world.
Exactly.
And they're not coming because they think there is no money, but they will come and more producers will rise.
Yes. And so, Elena, obviously you've been working with different institutions in the past, and you're now working with Oculus. You've been also a core member founding member of the Oculus Store Studio, and you've been working on so many adventurous projects at Oculus platform, and you also help with a lot of other projects to be produced for the platform. So, how do you think about being working in the platform? How do you support artists? Because I do know you have a lot of programs to support creators.
Yeah, and I think to Antoine's point, I really love how he put it, where we have to go from a couple different directions. And one is creating content that people might know. So we released a Star Wars project called Vader Immortal, knowing that it already has a big audience attached. But simultaneously working on projects that I'm personally passionate about and increase the art form of VR. And to me, I really see that in the independent community, because in the independent community, you can take a lot more chances. If you're beholden to a certain IP or a certain story world, there's a lot more people that are telling you what you can and can't do. And the thing I'm most excited about is people that are really pushing those boundaries. And so I work on a lot of really wacky projects, and I'm thankful every day that Oculus allows me to continue supporting a lot of these projects that we know aren't going to be commercial for a while, but we know that we need to continue to understand the form and understand how interactive storytelling works in all different capacities. So over the past 4 years, I've been able to work on dozens of projects of all different kinds. With Atlas 5, they've been a really incredible partner. We worked on Spheres together, and so many of the creators. And I think similar to everyone here, I feel very strongly it's about the artist-first approach. And so I don't try to necessarily insert myself too much on the creative end. It's really trying to figure out how I can best serve them, help serve that vision, help make something come alive. And I'm fortunate that I'm able to give them financial help, technical help, and then also a platform for an audience of distributing through the Oculus platform, giving it attention in that way. And there's a few programs that we also have, I think right now is a little bit different than it was 5 years ago. I think 5 years ago everything was completely experimental, and anything was possible. And now we're at a stage right now where if we really want an audience, a more mainstream audience, we need experiences that are more polished. And so we do look for a lot of creators that already have kind of good projects that they can show as examples, that we know that we can trust them. We know that we can trust that they'll say they'll finish something and they say they'll be good. That's why, Atlas 5, I love working with them, because you know it's going to be good, and you know it's going to be finished, and you know it's going to be within budget. But at the same time, if we're only focusing on those creators, we're not expanding our creator community. So we have programs like DevLab, for instance, which is something I started in partnership with Kaleidoscope. I think the first one was about 2 years ago, and this was also something I was really interested in. Just the idea of learning about VR is not just about learning about VR, it's the convergence of all these different industries that are coming together. So through DevLab, we brought together immersive theater experts, immersive installation experts, and a magician, because guiding attention is so much about what magicians do, an experience designer, and a couple other people, where you can really expand that conversation about developing what VR is. And because we need to continue kind of opening our minds and broadening those horizons, because if it comes from one specific industry, then we're just never really going to get to that bigger place that I think we all want to get to. And then through that, they start developing prototypes and also learning how to talk about their work. And that's very, very difficult for VR, is even learning how to pitch a VR project, because it's not the same thing as pitching a film, it's not necessarily pitching a game. VR is such a show, don't tell medium, but there are specific ways that our artists and creators need to learn how to translate their ideas to potential supporters. And then we created a showcase where these artists went and they pitched their projects in front of a group of potential supporters. And then we ended up also supporting a few of those projects, including Spheres, and there was a few more. And so we also have a program called Launchpad, where we bring 100 creators from diverse backgrounds together for a boot camp, and also are able to grant a few of those different projects. We have a VR for Good program within Creators Lab, where we pair 6 nonprofits to 6 filmmakers, which Home After War was part of on the last round. So there's definitely still programs that are out there, and we definitely need both of those. We need more experienced creators that are making stuff that are going more into the mainstream and figuring out how we can potentially be sustainable, as well as the support of newer creators and newer artists that might have those ideas that will continue pushing us, will continue showing us what VR can be meant for, and continuously inspiring us. And I think that's why all of us are so excited about being in this space right now, because in this space of discovery, you're just constantly inspired by people uncovering new ideas and new ways of doing interactive storytelling, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, I actually mentioned about, there's an article saying that VR is a mixer. So it can remix the traditional media into something new. So this is why I think it's super important to engage with artists and creators, not only from the core VR community, which is just only a couple of people, but we know every single one of them. We need to expand the circle and to invite more people from other media to join the party, but to join the crowd. So they will be able to create something from their own perspective, their own standpoint, and that will create something that is unique. I do think there are a lot of people from the theater background coming to create VR, like Anagram. Has already been working with Anagram for a while, right? And I know you've been working with them you've been supporting a project called the Glider from the Dog Lab, and obviously you have a lot more interesting projects that you work with, interesting ideas and people you work with. Can you share about your ideas, how you work with them?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's interesting to hear the perspectives of the others on the panel, because I think we will share a similar situation where we've been in this space longer than VR, I think. And to me, I was at an AI conference a couple of weeks ago, and the way that they were talking about AI, about defining what it was and how we need to be interdisciplinary, how do we do this, felt like how we were talking about VR 5 years ago, and it feels like the way that we're talking about VR now feels like how we were talking about interactive 5 years ago. So I think it's interesting that the needs, there's a newness to it, and then at the same time, we don't really know what it is. Like, if we're honest, the opening keynote, there was a whole bag full of devices. We call that XR because VR doesn't cut it anymore, and AR, VR, MR is too many words, too many different definitions. And I think that's confusing. Sorry?
Well, they're confused about the different.
Yeah, and I think XR, what does XR mean? XR actually means all those things that we quite not completely know where it begins and ends. Is immersive theater part of it or not? Well, we don't know. And I think that was the situation when in 2007, we started Top-Lab at IFA. IFA is a film festival. It's the world's biggest documentary film festival. And we basically we were within the paradigm of the film industry, the documentary film industry. I think the really lucky thing for us was that we didn't have to relate, when we started the program, it was like, do we relate to film? And we didn't have to, because like Top-Lab is going to be about documentary art. We don't care in which medium, whether it's film, whether it's theater, whether it's photography, whether it's games, whether it's whatever. And that approach kind of is how we've been working. And I think we started with our market, we opened it up for interactive stuff. Our talent program is the same thing, but very quickly we realized that the standard approaches to an existing medium didn't work for this space. And I think it goes for everybody here on this panel, yourself as well. I think everybody who's good in this world kind of knows what their role is, but is prepared to leave their job title. I think me as a programmer, as a curator, starting working with artists was like helping them produce sometimes, or thinking about how do you bring this in front of an audience physically, whether it's digital work. And those were you kind of become compulsive. As a curator, you like to just let me look at it, and then I'll say yes or no. And now we sort of started, and then the next step was like talking to artists and like, you guys should talk to each other. Like, you guys actually make us something. Come back and make us something. I think our biggest learning is that as a festival, sadly we don't have lot of budgets put into works because we need to rent spaces and spend it on that. But I think one of our big learnings was giving people actually a fixed deadline and a guaranteed audience. Besides money matchmaking, is a really key thing for certain experiments to be done. Because I think where you're getting to the stage where it needs to scale, it needs to reach audiences, I think we as festivals have a core duty to support the freak show, the weird stuff that we don't know yet whether it gets on.
Yeah. It was also interesting that you mentioned about that the multiple like character that you may have. It kind of slowed me a little bit as well because obviously we do curate for the festival, curate work and talk to artists. But sometimes when you talk to some of the artists and artists, you just find out that they're very they're helpless. They don't know what to do. They actually wanted to do something, but they don't know where to start. So we did talk to them, trying to give them a little more guidance on maybe you should talk to this camera company, to talk to the post-production company to see how to process it. So it's kind of become like a producer as well. So I don't know. But I think it's okay for this time, for this specific moment, because it's very early. A lot of people do want to get into this, but not necessarily knowing what to do, and they need guidance. So this is why I think having different kinds of programs to support them is extremely important. Because I think, obviously, we have a small. We now describe ourselves as a small circle, but a whole lot of people are trying to get into this, that they're interested in it, but not necessarily have the knowledge of working on a project like this. So, yeah. And also, I wanted to actually go back to Elena a bit on, I think maybe people will be curious with that too. So we now have new generation headsets, like Oculus Quest. And do you think will be also, because a lot of those experiences on the Quest are more like a game focused, but still I think that a whole lot of people wanted to create non-game experiences for Oculus Quest. Have you been working with them? I mean, how do you feel about the upcoming waves of projects that may be more likely to non-game projects are more likely to get onto new platforms?
Yeah, I mean I've been at Oculus for almost 4 years, and my whole focus is around non-gaming content. So I'm still there. So apparently we're still working on those. I think just generally the reality is that most of the people that do buy headsets are gamers, and so you have to serve that market because they're the ones that are buying those headsets, and you want to kind of give them quality experiences. But I work right now on a team we're calling the media team, and so much of our focus right now is on making the media experience better, all the way from immersive video content to a lot of the stuff that I'm personally passionate about, which is spatial interactive storytelling. And to your earlier point about how we're supporting creators, people wanting to get into stuff, the challenge is that there's not one way, because the workflows keep on changing, the equipment keeps on changing. And so we have a team that's fully dedicated to making the workflows better, into finding the equipment that's going to be less expensive, and into providing a discovery platform for people to be able to discover that kind of work. I think the challenge in the past is that we were putting our stuff out, the storytelling, in the same store as we were putting game stuff out. And so I think the store is just a very confusing place for a lot of people coming in there, because gamers would get upset of, hey, what's this 10-minute long experience? I don't get it. And then people seeking storytelling stuff have to go through a bunch of different games. And so one of the keys is just really making it an easier discovery process for audiences to be able to find the things that they want. And so we're kind of separating those things out a little bit. The things that I'm focusing on right now is continuing to make stuff that we know is going to reach a an audience and people are going to really want it. I do think it's important that once we put stuff out to general distribution that it should be polished. I think I love the festival community for discovering the new stuff. I think as Casper puts it, maybe the freak show, although I wouldn't call it the freak show. I think it's normal stuff for me, and I love it. But it's hard to put that stuff out, and it's great within our communities where we can talk about it, and we can understand it, and we can talk about what that project achieved. But when you put something out to kind of a general audience that doesn't understand that space, they're going to look at it and be like, this kind of feels like a rough cut of a film. And people don't put that out in theaters, and people don't put that out on Netflix. So that we need to take into consideration. But there's also room for both. So I'm really lucky that I also get to experiment in just creative prototyping, of pushing forward the format, knowing that this isn't going to be commercial, this isn't going to be mainstream. But I think as a company, we understand that it's important for us to continue experimenting and understanding what that is. So that ultimately, once that audience that loves storytelling is there, we have something to put in front of them that's consistent, that we know in some sense works. I talk about this to my team a lot, but films have been around for over a century, and there's still a lot of really bad films. So even if people perfectly craft the format of some sort of medium, it doesn't mean that it's going to be a lot of good stuff. Good stuff really comes from the soulfulness of it. And it's really interesting. At Sundance this year, I had a couple of projects. I think it was a few projects, but one of them was part of the official New Frontier Traveling While Black, and it was a slightly interactive 360 video made by Felix and Paul Studios and Roger Ross Williams. And then there was a project we're showing kind of behind closed doors because it was on Quest. We haven't released it yet, with this team that I really love called Tender Claws. And it's a project called The Underrepresents. Yeah. And we incorporate live actors from a different place, and it's super pushing innovation. And to me at that point, sometimes I thought, oh, everyone's already sick of 360 videos, no one's gonna like it, it's gonna look too traditional. And it was so fascinating to see how moved people were by Traveling While Black, by a fairly, traditional, maybe I'm just saying traditional because I'm too in my little bubble of innovative community people, but how people really gravitate to story. And really the thing, no matter how innovative it is or non-innovative it is, it just has to be good, and it has to be soulful, and it has to feel authentic. And so I'm really in a place right now where it's back to just that artist-first approach. I'm continuing to just push forward and experiment with form, but ultimately if it's just a good idea, and you know that artist is very authentic, and they have something that they're really trying to prove, that's kind of what I fall into, versus just the crazy concept using, like all the crazy native phrases that we want to use. That's like the hot ticket item at the moment. It can be simple, and it can be amazing and groundbreaking. It could be completely innovative, and it can at the same time be really boring. And so it's not necessarily one way or the other. It has to come from that core place of the artist, the creation, the intention, and then using the tools to help bring that out versus the opposite.
Can I just add to that? Because I think that's such a key point, in the sense that when you're either curating, producing, whatever we do in this space, I think the big problem is the word new media. Like they were so obsessed with it being new and innovative and shiny, and the next big thing, where to me it just became the rule of thumb. Like whatever we support, whatever we are part of, we ask ourselves, would we like to do this installation 5 years from now as well? Like, do I want to see this project 5 years from now? Regardless of whether it's an early stage prototype device, like would I want to see it 5 years from now? I think, it's a blindness. First time I saw it, instantly the answer was yes, I want to see this 5 years from now. This is a timeless masterpiece. And I think that's the easiest trick we have, just like keep asking ourselves that question every time the new device comes out or the new experience is new.
Just to come back on something like this, as my papa did, it's like we keep opposing the freak show and the audience. And I think we're always in this position that I kind of not agree, I think, I don't know, maybe it's like you're in a position that like, no one's like, you do Star Trek or you do freak, and I think a project can be artistic and reach an audience. And And in that way, we need to select carefully what we need to do in order of reaching audience, but staying producers doing what we want to do. Not the boundaries really thin, of thinking only that I need to produce it, it to be produced, and I might do something I don't really want to do. And the opposite, but I think some project, and this one is a good one, I did not know it, my partner did it, so I can be constructive on it. It's a good method, I think we should do.
Something you said at the beginning, when we started talking, I think it's really useful, is this fact I come from film originally, and I've organically moved into different spaces. I haven't done it in exactly the same meetings as I want to be in VR, because I think it's interesting. It's something that's organically happened, and there's a need. And it's the same way when we started our labs, one of the things we realized very early on was if you start with technology, you're screwed. You have to start, it doesn't matter whether you're making a feature film, whether you're making a complicated immersive theatre piece, fully embodied avatars, multi-person haptic. What you need to do is start with the idea and people. And you're creating art, you're communicating to audiences. And those are the two things, and you have a role as an artist. And having those three things are really important, and you have to keep on thinking about those things all the way through. It's like, I always think the goal of what you're doing is super important, and you have to remind yourself, it's the same when I was involved in film development, that you're deep in the script, and you're introduced to the script because you're giving script notes back to people, and it gets far away by the time what the intention is at the beginning, because you're in a templated form, where you're deep in development and you've forgotten what you're doing, because you're going into the mechanics. And it's the same with technology. Often you get stuck with platform technology, you forget the idea. So often with projects, when I do quite sort of assessing funds as well on projects, it's the same thing, curating something you said before, our role as, I'm going to keep that question in a second, it's in whatever we're doing, we're looking at ideas that can touch people, that we're trying to communicate to people. And yes, we're working in new spaces with new ideas, but we always come back to that. If you start with platforms, it's always disaster. It doesn't matter what medium you're working on. And that's something we learned. When I was running Pixel Lab, we were working for so many different formats because we didn't have VR wasn't there, which was a multi-billion-dollar business. It was web docs and apps and kind of things like that, interactive game, narrative games. And nobody knew what it was. So only if you come back to were those four things. I found sometimes there's a lot of technology involved, you can forget that. The second thing you were saying, Casper, I think is really important, is this idea when you're working in a space that's undefined, you almost, when you start getting involved in developing or financing projects or curating projects, you get deep into this idea of ecosystem because it's unformed, and so you're always, whatever side you come from, whether it's a festival, Venice, it's, there's a college, there's the market, there's the, the competition section. You always get more and more, we all feel this responsibility to see what's missing. And there's so much needed that you can't help but get involved to have an overview. Whereas with film, I was interested in the reason I one of the reasons I got into looking at new ways of telling stories was I kind of got fed up with the template of film. It was templated, it was very fragmented. There were people in development, there were people in production, there were people in finance, there were people who do sales, there were people who do distribution, execution, and nothing worked together, weirdly enough. And it's kind of exciting being in this area where you're helping, and I'm not trying to be grandiose, you have to help. Everyone has to really think about the ecosystem. And that's what you have to do. You can't get stuck in one part as a producer. I know you have to be way more involved than you would get in a film producer. You're doing things, or making relationships, and sometimes doing sales. You wouldn't do it in a traditional medium because it's sell. Yeah, so it's kind of it's interesting. We're all in on different areas, way more involved. So it's like when we came back to these roles, I have these different things. So all it's like my presentations is like Pat Pixel, Venice, Creative, so they all different titles. So yes.
But I do think all these creators need those different kinds of support. This is why we do, like the festival organizers need to think more and more, think about how we can work with, how we can help them. First of all, we need to build a promotional platform for them to showcase the work, and then we need to have, for example, conference programs and networking events to grab people together, and then we need to have pitch sessions to promote the work. And then now the next step for me will be, how can I find money for them? It's the next step. We always have to move forward to do something more about it in order to fill the gap.
Also, I just want to say that one of the most incredible things about this space right now is the community that's formed and how the community supports each other. And so, partially because it isn't the most financially sustainable, there's not that much competition. And so it's a very supportive community. And so I also highly recommend for anyone interested in just finding those communities and asking any sort of questions, because everyone is so excited and happy to help on all of these different ways. And also learning how to create these things it's accessible online. There are different workshops out there, but most of that information is out there.
Can I add something even if it's like because so the panel is divided from 0 to 1, and it might be some new producer and creator in the room, and just something I want to say that you need to believe in what you want to do, and an idea is not a project. And a lot of people pitch you an idea, and I have a lot of good ideas, and I'm not an artist. We all have good ideas, but what matters is like the vision you have of your idea. And I think when you go to pitch a producer, a film festival, a broadcaster, financer, all these decision maker or producer, you need to be strong on your proposition. Not only have an idea, but have a story or a mood or even a prototype if you can afford to have some bit of grants or to be on your side, because that's how people will believe in your project. If you arrive and say, oh, I want to do that, there's a lot of things that I want to do that I will never do in my life. So I think it's really important to believe in the idea you want to do, and you have 25, pick one, work on it, and when you pitch us and all the people that might help you on it, we will believe you, like, oh, you know what you want to do. So that's a little thing I wanted to do for 0 to 1, because after I was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Actually, before we can conclude the sessions, I know we're out of time, I still have one question to ask. I still think quite a few people are curious about so when we actually, whether it's produce the work or help the artists produce the work. How much of a kind of effort do you think that they should think about in terms of the business side? Because they can always think about the creative side, but it's extremely difficult to find still right now. It's difficult to find money, and even for if you go to any potential financial partners, they have to ask this company also have you ever think about business side of business projects, whether it doesn't have to be another million, but do you think you can make a balance that kind of approach? So I understand we all have different kind of perspectives, and I want to maybe to ask this final question.
I think there's many creative ways. Of course, it's important. I think the challenge VR a few years ago was that everyone kind of just jumped in during kind of a hype cycle, and I think a lot of people got burned during that time because it didn't go as fast as people thought it was, and I don't know why people thought it was going to all happen so fast. But I've seen a lot of companies, including Atlas 5, start being very, very creative around various distribution efforts and thinking about what portion of your project can go into location-based versus in home. It's always nice to co-produce with countries like France and Canada who have some public funding towards it. It can offset the costs, and it's really amazing to have these countries that are funding just like for cultural reasons of expanding just the form of that form of funding. We're seeing such incredible things coming out of France and Canada. But just being creative around, and XR, talk to Liz, yeah. Not the US, our funding, public funding is not so great. So it's important to think creatively about all the different distribution efforts, because there are people that are making money. It's not out of the box. It's not easy, but it is possible if you can be creative around it. But it also is important, I think, to Antoine's point about believing your idea. I do strongly believe that having an idea in VR is very different than the reality of what turns out because it's such a new form. So I highly recommend prototyping that idea ahead of time. And I think if you can prove your idea in some way within a headset, because oftentimes if someone has an idea, I usually ask to see something inside of the headset. And once you put your headset into the headset, you can so easily see that potential, and you can see that trust. So put that effort into that prototype. I mean, for us in our approaches to funding and the stuff that I work on, we know we're not going to make our money back on it. That's not really the point of it right now. And so I know that it's not an easy place right now with the funding, but it's possible to get stuff done.
And I would say, like, this say from us that we're expanding our field of expertise. I think, and I'm sorry for that, it's also need to be the case a little bit for the artist. Like, don't do Excel sheet that, like, I will do so many entry territories that are not your job. But just think a little bit like, who will be your main audience? Who will be your secondary audience, you know? And it's a little bit common sense. Is your subject to reach people? Like, when I interview the act with my partners, we're doing an impossible love story. So to everyone, impossible love story. Everyone has already been in love with someone like that club, and zombie. Everybody loves zombie. So we didn't do that because it was easy. The director did this story because they wanted to do it. But as producer, we had the feeling that it might reach more people. You know, it's common sense. So don't do too much mathematics. That's not your job. But yes, think a little bit about that. Even if maybe 25 years ago it was the role of director, and today it's a little bit the sense that they need to have.
XR's sort of interesting working out just to do the strategy of 20 projects in April. And then it will take different projects. A lot of actual ones that contain formats, really, really complex projects. You might be existed with immersive tech. And some other projects as well, all different shapes and sizes. But it's interesting what the main things I identified, because I looked at it, saying we talk about things that it's always really good when we're looking at project is to get an overview and see what we need. Because a lot of the time there's so many skills involved. And we're talking about the idea that, immersive is bringing so many people from different areas together. Not needing to be people who are experts in real time in live performance and improv acting. Because a lot of the time you're dealing with auditions. And that's like a real time interaction. You need people who are writers and good storytellers, and sometimes I see this from people who come from game design or design background. There are many different skills. It's really good to break that down anyway into a team, because that's the first thing a lot of investors look at, is the idea and the team, can they deliver? One of the big things I noticed across the projects is there are not many producers who are trained to understand how you develop IP, so intellectual property. I come from a film background, so it's kind of really obvious to me that this is a terminated business model that has a way of doing business where producers raise money and the money has different forms. There's equity, there's equity investment, personal financing, owns it, there's grant, you don't have to pay that. There's layers, there's that people understand what money is. They also understand licensing and legalities around the project and copyright. And a lot of people like seeing making projects that tend to be artist, design, games background, and they don't have the skills as a producer. And this is something I noticed with every single project. There are no proper producers who can deal with writing, who understand how you write a business strategy. Or a strategy, because you've got to go back to this thing, what's your goal? And this is the thing, it's really very, very clear about your goal. And when you're working, the first thing you know is doing something or can see that audiences at home that are very limited, people looking at location-based entertainment, you have to break everything down and try and be as realistic and ambitious at the same time. But the problem I found is there are a lot of people who don't know basic ways of how you put money together, how you produce something, and that's something that we really need is producer training. And it's not the same skills. You're using some of the same business model we saw for film, sales agents who license platforms and territories, they're not possible skills to learn. I found this is a real problem. So going back to this thing, well, some of the projects I'm profit, like we feel good projects, and they've got a different business strategy. Sometimes it's not about reaching those people, it's about reaching the right people. And I think that's quite an important thing, to really be realistic about who you can reach and how. I'm actually going to talk tomorrow on is looking at all the different sort of distribution, exhibition platforms. It's a bit of a sort of mapping out different platforms. So it's for some people it's going to be obvious, maybe there's some new ideas, but I think it's being very realistic about the small, like it's small numbers, but there are many different places you can go to. And I'm thinking about producing skills that you can work with to help you with that.
I know this is what is good.
Thank you so much. Very good. Casper,
yeah, I think it's hard to answer that question for both artists and producers. I think one of the reasons Atlas Live is doing as well, because you both are very comfortable to extend your role as a traditional producer into an interactive producer, if you really understand what it is to be a producer, not a director. And I think that's the same for us with curation. We have a very fuzzy definition of where curation begins and ends, but we are curating. And it's the director and the producer who it's their responsibility in the end. Like, we helped a little bit with the player, but it was anagram making it. And in that sense, the answer, how do you have a viable career financially as an artist? It's a different one from a producer, from a production company, running a company. Often those are combined in this space, so it's hard to be clear, but I think one thing that I noticed is there's a lot of really amazing artists working PhDs at this moment. That's just part of their sustainable model. It's some form of revenue. It's not necessarily a great thing. It's a great discussion. And it's, I think, in the end, to me, it's a working idea. Like, make you ask yourself the question, like, am I doing this for the eyeballs, for the money, or for the legacy? Like, do I want to make people cry, or do I want to get a voice? Completely fine. I think you combine it well, you can have all three with a good principle.
Yeah, that's it. Had to be clear about the goal. All right, I think we're running out of time. I think it's, the topic today we discussed is actually extremely important because, in the years ahead, there's going to be so many new people joining the immersive media crowd, and there are a lot of students out there in college still want to jump into the game, and they're trying to learn more about media, and we definitely need more help from the creative community. So we do need to help them with whatever is possible we can to actually make it work, to make the community bigger, and to make the medium successful. Right, okay, thank you so much for the amazing happiness, and please give a round of applause.